The topic which I am going to discuss is the copyright law and its related rights. So, copyright was not very new to all of you. We all aware about it, but we have to see how the copyright has played an important role in the present day context in every aspect of life. But before going to the details, we must see how the historical evolution of the law on copyright. So, the origin of copyright in Britain. So, in the beginning, copyright was confined to books only during the reign of Queen Anne in 1709. So, copyright was given to books only. So, at the time of 1709, think about it. So, when the books or other writings were handwritten and are preserved in the form of manuscripts only, the apprehension of anybody copying a work without the author's permission was not appreciable. So, when books or any other writings were only in the handwritten form because there was no prints available, so therefore it was preserved in the manuscripts only. So, there is definitely an apprehension is there that there is a copying is very much possible without the author's permission, and it was not appreciable. So, but however, the things has changed the moment the printing device was discovered, which made copying easier. So, after coming into the printing device, so copying was made very much easier. The history of printing in England starts when the William Curtin in the 15th century introduced the art of printing. So, when the printing devices just came into being, it became easy for the mass scale production of a work, but in turn piracy was quite easy. So when the mass scale production has made available for the books, then there is a negativity on this point is that so piracy was quite easy. So therefore the piracy has now spread out to the every aspect of life, and basically very more importantly in the film industry and the musical industry, we have seen the piracy word is very common. So as a result, the question arises, ownership of a work, and it become more important. So it necessitated therefore to have a legal recognition for ownership of an author in his works, and to protect him to encroach upon his right by anybody else in any other ways or any other modes they can encroach. So we should protect him. So the copyright became a vital concern for the author as well as the crown. When the printers has grew in numbers, that means when the printers available in England in numbers, it become prerogative of the king to grant licenses to printers. So they has to give the license to printers so that they can go for printing. In 1856, Philip and Mary granted what was termed as the original charter of the Stationers' Company. So 1856, Philip and Mary has given an originality on Stationers' Company. Now, the decree of 1556, decree means the order of the court. It's prohibit the printing which is going against the ordinance or statute. So you have to print it, but it should be within the ordinance or statute. Second decree says 1585, it made that every book has to be compulsorily licensed. And the third decree of 1637, they have provided that no person is to print or import any book or copy which the Stationers' Company or any person shall by letters patent, order, or entrance in the register book or otherwise have the right, privilege, authority, or allowance solely to print. So, the third decree, that is of 1637, says that nobody could print or import any copy or book without the Stationers' Company permissions, because they only have, or Stationers' Company only having the right, privilege, or authority to solely to print, or any other person who has the patent, order, or their name registered in the register book, they can only have the printing. So despite these stringent measures taken by the crown, there had been no oppositions from the parliament. So these are the stringent provisions made by the crown, but nobody could oppose it, and parliament could never oppose it. So that is why in 1640 parliament issued an ordinance, and they say that unless the books are having a license, it could not be printed. And by the issuance of this ordinance, So they have introduced the concept of ownership of author in books for the first time. And earlier this ownership was protected under the common law. It became a statutory recognition of the fact that there existed a property in the works of author which could not be used without the owner's prior permissions. So it became a fact that authorship or the ownership is only with the author of the books. So nobody could use it without his permissions. And it is a great step they have taken it directing towards the recognitions and protection of the author's proprietary right in his work. In 1709, some of the interested parties have made an appeal or prayer to the parliament. They are indicating that they say that for a long time there was no statute or ordinance to protect the copyright of the stationers, and therefore a lot of violations has acquired, and it was in such an extent that there was no authority, and that is why the parliament was the right person, or parliament was right to do their best in the reducing the violations cases. So one of the reasons in support of the urgency and appropriateness of an act of parliament in this regard was, according to the stationers' versions, that the common remedy which they could avail in absence of a statutory provision left them all the more pitiable, because they could get the damage only to the extent to which they prove it before the court, which believe was highly incommensurate to the actual loss they suffered. So the reasons behind it, the urgency and the appropriate act of the parliament in this respect was to curtail the violations, was that, so they were saying that stationers, they have made in contentions that they had a common law remedy, but that remedy they has to prove before the court to the extent they will prove, they will get the damages. So it becomes a very pitiable for that, and that is what they will get as a damages. So that could not be have and satisfy the actual loss they will suffered. So in response to this, in 1709, it has made the privilege that they regard as the Copyright Act in the history of copyright in Britain. So because of the prayers and appeal to the Parliament in 1709, they could get a Copyright Act in the history of copyright in Britain, and this is known as the Statute of Anne 1710, and it was effective from 10th April. One of the author, that is a Coppingers, he said that copyright authors could get it for their books for 21 years, they can print it, and they only have the sole right and liberty to print, and they could print it for 14 years, only to print they can go for 14 years, and suppose that 14 years period had expired and the author is still survived, then he could another 14 years he will get it, but that has to be returned to this right to be returned to the authors for another 14 years. And one important point Coppinger has raised, that so title to the books had to be always registered under the stationer's register book, and out of that 9 copies they has to deliver to certain libraries. So this was the important thing to be noticed here. The books has to be registered in the register book of the stationer's company. So Parliament also passed the Copyright Act in 1734 and 1766, which provided the term of copyright was firstly for 14 years and later extended to 28 years. So it was amended in 1734 and 76, and they have made the copyright protection for a term of 14 years, and later it can be extended for 28 years. So further, the Act of 1798 and 84 was passed, and it was protecting the human sculptures for the period of 14 years, with another 14 years term in case the author survived the first term and still they will have the copyright with him. So he will get 14 plus 14, 28 years. So copyright of the composers, playwrights, and others in the field of drama was protected by Dramatic Copyright Act 1838 and Lectures Copyright Act 1835. This is the act. Two acts has been passed. And again, in 1842, it was retained as Literary Copyright Act. One of the author, that's T.B. Macaulay, he said copyright is a tax. So it is a tax on the readers. And why they are collecting this tax? Just to give a royalty to the authors. And that is why he opposing the proposal raised by the one Sergeant Telford. He said that copyright protection will be given to the life of the authors plus 60 years. He was not accepting it. He was opposing that. The Act of 1911 had one important point, that is that term was extended to the lifespan of the author plus 60 years, 50 years. That means author, how long he will survive. After his death, he will get another 50 years. And another important point, they have been made amended, that is they have removed the preconditions that earlier we have to register under the register book of the stationers company. They have removed it, otherwise the author could not have been protected. So these two important changes they have brought in 1911. The Act of 1911 was replaced by the Copyright Act 1956, and it was based on the review committee opinion by, as it was known as the Gregory Committee. So it has widened the scope of the copyright law, which include in its purview that sound recording and television broadcast. It was again amended due to the technological developments, because the cable television came into being and computer software. And after revision, they bring the Copyright Designs and Patent Act in 1988. So this is the background with the Britain and how we have to come into India now, the copyright in India. As history says, there was no concept of copyright in India up till the Mughal period. So till the Mughal period, we have never heard about anything like copyright term. And it was only due to the Britishers came into India, they brought the concept like copyright. Because as we have seen the history, the evolutions that is in Britain. So as it was observed by eminent scholars that there is no trace of any protection of the law having been given to the rights called copyright, other than by virtue of the principles of equity and good conscience till the middle of the 18th century. Till the middle of the 18th century, one of the eminent scholar, he says that there was no term called copyright protection was there. We could not trace anywhere else. Only we can know that it can bring it by the concept of or by the principles of equity and good conscience. So the Literary Copyright Act 1842 was passed by the British Parliament, bringing about a change in the law of copyright, and it was also made applicable in British colonies besides British herself. So Literary Copyright Act 1842 was passed by the British Parliament. So bringing a change, they said law of copyright they brought into change, and it was made applicable in British colony and British itself. Thus this act, which provided for protection of copyright in books published on British soil, automatically got an extension to the British India. So this is the very, very important change they have brought it, which earlier we have never seen in the history. So they say that if anybody will publish a books in British, they will automatically get an extension of their protections in British India. So during the British colonial era, the Literary Copyright Act 1842 has no codified law for the copyright protection in India, except the common law principles of justice, equity, and good conscience, which the courts in the administration of East India Company were supposed to follow. So during the British colonial period in India, the Literary Copyright Act 1842 was not codified. So that is why the copyright protection in India was not codified. Because of that, only the principle we have followed was the common law principle of equity, justice, and good conscience, which the court has to follow in the administration of their cases. So the East India Company were supposed to follow it because the law was not codified. For the enforcement of the copyright in the areas under the administration of East India Company, So to enforce the copyright, we know we are talking about the copyright. Now how to enforce it? So in enforcing in the areas, where areas, which is the areas under the administration of East India Company. When the East India Company was ruling in their administration, we have to enforce the copyright. And it was also for promoting. We have to promote what? Endeavors of knowledge. We have to promote the knowledges, bring awareness about the copyright and also learning in these areas. The Governor General in Council on December 1847 passed the Copyright Act 1847, which provided for protection of copyright in works which had been published in the areas under the company's administration for the first time since the passage of British Act of 1842, that is the Literary Copyright Act 1842. So Governor General in Council, he has passed the Act of Copyright Act, that is 1842, but it was passed in December 18 with an intention that they will protect the copyright in works which was published in the areas where they were ruling, that is under the company's administration. For the first time it was there since the passing of the Act of 1842, that is the Literary Copyright Act 1942.